Good evening, and welcome along to the show. Coming up tonight, we'll be joined by music legend Steve Forbert. He'll be telling us all about his new album, Moving Through America, and performing a couple of exclusive tracks live in the studio as well. Mark Edwards is also with us, talking about his new psychological thriller novel, No Place to Run. Tony McCauley joins us to tell us about his new musical adaptation of his book, Bread Boy. And to start things off, another week, another festival in Belfast, and this time it's Tradfest. Here's what happened when I met one of the organisers earlier this week. Right, another week and another big festival comes to Belfast. This time round we're talking about Belfast Tradfest. Donal O'Connor is going to tell us all about what's happening this year. He joins us now in the studio. How are you?
Very good, Robin. Thanks for having me.
So, lots happening and lots of great music events. We must start off with Sharon Shannon and Liam O'Manley from the Hothouse Flowers.
Yeah, that's our big flagship gig on Friday the 29th of July in the Ulster Hall. And Sharon is bringing her big band to Belfast for the first time in quite some time. And opening the show is the wonderful Liam O'Manley, frontman of the Hothouse Flowers, as you say. And Liam has given us a very special set at the grand piano with tin whistle and with bodhrán and traditional song, and we're very excited about that.
Excellent. Now, Cathy Jordan from Dervish is also going to be in Belfast.
That's right. So the festival begins on Saturday the 23rd with a Titanic Ceilidh at the Titanic Slipways, and then on Sunday the 24th we have Cathy Jordan in the Black Box with her fantastic trio, The Unwanted, Seamie O'Dowd on guitar and Rick Epping on harmonica and concertina. And it's the first time that The Unwanted have been here in quite some time. So Cathy is a great performer and a wonderful entertainer. We're very excited.
Now, as well as all the music events, we've got some theatre as well. We've got the fiddle monologues, haven't we?
That's right. It's a very interesting piece. Sorcha Meehan, a fantastic fiddle player from the North Coast, from Port Stewart direction. She's bringing a one-woman play to the Black Box Theatre on Sunday the 24th, and it maps the journey of a violin through time from the 1700s right through to the 1950s. And Sorcha has composed all of the music, and it's performed by an all-female cast of fiddlers from Belfast and the region. And it's the first time that it will have gone on stage in Belfast, so we're really looking forward to that.
Excellent. Now, something else that's very important to you is your summer school that you run.
Yeah, the summer school is where it all began, Robin, and in 2017 we had our first edition of the Belfast Traditional Music Summer School, and it's the engine of the festival, it's the hub. So we have up to 500 young and not so young people who sign up for classes Monday to Friday, 10 to 1, and they get to spend time with some of the best in the business, you know, the likes of Mary Bergen, who's considered the best tin whistle player of all time. We have wonderful fiddle tutors like Breege Harper and Jessie Smith and Kieran Mwene. We have the amazing Mary Dillon from the band Janta.
Oh, yeah.
She's not very well known for giving workshops and masterclasses, so we're very excited that we've convinced her to come up to Belfast from Dungiven. And Mary, of course, is a sister of Cara Dillon, who I'm sure you know, and Mary will sing at our Sean Maguire tribute concert on Monday night in the Duncairn Arts Centre. So we have lots of classes in the morning, and then in the afternoon we have talks, lectures, workshops, taster sessions. If people have never had the opportunity to try an instrument like the bodhrán or the bagpipes, you can come along, sign up for a 1-hour taster session and get your hands on the instrument, give it a go and see if it's something that appeals to you. And then we have a full range for all abilities, so beginners, intermediates to the advanced on all instruments. And we have a very interesting programme, Whistle and Sing, for children aged 5+. So it's a taster, again, an introduction to the world of traditional music and song, and we have some simple tunes will be taught on tin whistle, and also we'll have traditional songs from Belfast, street songs, the likes of which we're all familiar with, My Aunt Jane and I Tell My Ma, those kind of songs. So that's great fun for young kids, and kids who haven't had traditional music experience before tend to come along, sign up for that, and then they go and sign up to the local music schools like the Glengormley School of Traditional Music or the Andersonstown School of Music or Belfast Trad. So it's a great way for people to get into the world of traditional music.
Now, you've also teamed up with Belfast Pride this year. Tell us about that.
That's right. On the Wednesday night in the OES Centre, we're holding our second Ceilidh in conjunction with Belfast Pride. Some people are calling it a Gailey, And it's been a lot of fun in the past, where we have the World of Belfast Pride meets the World of Belfast Tradfest, and a lot of dancing and hilarity ensues. And we have a wonderful Céilí band there led by Kieran Kelly on the night, so that should be a lot of fun.
Brilliant. And you've got the Festival Club as well, which I would imagine is the place to be during Tradfest.
Absolutely. Well, each evening we have sessions that run in all the local bars. We have a session trail sponsored by McConnell's Irish Whiskey, and we have over 40 sessions. And when the sessions wrap up and it's time not to go home yet, you can make your way to the Festival Club, which on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday take place in the John Hewitt Bar. And we have the likes of Gino Lipari, the frontman of Four Men and a Dog. We have Adele Ní a fantastic accordion player and sean-nós dancer from Connemara and friends. And we have Dylan Carlos and John McCartan and Dave Sheridan. So that's Sunday, Monday and Tuesday in the John Hewitt Bar. On Wednesday, we're in the American Bar with a great local group, Brishta. They've just released a new CD. Fantastic musicians, Alison Crossy, Joanna Boyle and Emma Robinson. And then on Thursday and Friday, we have our Festival Club in the Deer's Head. And we have Troda on the Thursday night, followed by a trad disco. So DJ Ollie Maluli, who comes all the way from Manchester via Ennis, he mixes trad and beats.
Right.
And that's quite a lot of fun.
I'd love to see that.
You'll have to come along.
I'm going to have to come along to that, aren't I? So there really is a lot of things happening. Any more highlights we should know about then?
Well, we have Niamh Parsons, an amazing singer based in Dublin who lived in Belfast for a time, and she's kind of almost like a homecoming gig for Niamh. We have that taking place on the 24th, and she's supported by a brilliant young fiddle player from Tyrone called Sinead McKenna. We also then have our midweek concerts featuring our tutors. So on Monday night we have a Sean Maguire concert in the Duncairn Arts Centre on the Antrim Road. On the Tuesday night we're in the Strand Arts Centre with a concert titled With Fife and Drum, featuring bagpipes, uilleann pipes, tin whistle, bodhrán. And that's an amazing display of incredible players. Alistair Donaghy on bagpipes, Tommy Hayes, the great bodhrán player from the Stockton's Wing, he's on that concert. Mary Bergen, as I mentioned before. Harry Bradley, he's a former recipient of Gratham Cole, T.G. Cahir Musician of the Year Award. So there's an incredible lineup at that concert. On the Wednesday night, we're in on Drogheda on the Ormer Road with a concert featuring duos. So we have Kieran and Catchleen, we have Barry Kerr and Sheila Denver, we have the amazing Dave Munley, accordion player from Mayo, joined by Australian guitar maestro Steve Cooney. And then on Thursday we have a concert in the Cultalan McAdam O'Feach on the Falls Road. And it's a concert featuring the finest female performers in traditional music. So singer Muir Nicolav, dancer Edwina Guckian. We have Angelina Carberry, current or last year's Ceoltar na Bliana, T.G. Cahir Gratham Cole, an amazing banjo player from Longford, Cathley Nagawan. So there's a whole array of fantastic concerts taking place throughout the week, and then finishing up on the Friday in the Ulster Hall.
Excellent, it sounds amazing. 23rd of July until the 29th of July. If people want more information and to get their tickets, where do they go to for that? To
belfasttradfest.com. And I should add that we've just added the Titanic Céilí on Saturday the 23rd. So we'll have a Céilí on the Titanic Slipways, and we'll have the Blackwater Céilí Band, an amazing Céilí band from Tyrone. We'll have Ronan Eastwood calling dances. We'll have an Ulster Scots Céilí band, and we'll have Scottish dances. And we'll have the Antrim and Derry Fiddlers Association. We'll also have Clamory Vilfarsta, the Wren boys dressed up in masks and costumes, and it's sure to be a fantastic day for all the family. We'll have workshops, again taster sessions on bodhrán. We'll have food stalls and lots of dancing and lots of fun, and hopefully some sun.
Exactly. Let's hope so. It sounds so much fun. Lots to look forward to. Donal, great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much, Rob.
Thank you. Right, my next guest is a best-selling author who sold around 3.5 million books worldwide. His latest is a psychological thriller inspired by the climate change crisis. And here's what happens when I caught up with author Mark Edwards earlier this week. Mark, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining us. So I'm looking forward to reading your new novel, No Place to Run. It's a psychological thriller, and it's kind of based on the climate change crisis at the moment, isn't it?
It is, yes. So it's about a missing teenager in Northern California and her brother who goes looking for her, trying to find her. And Scarlett, who's the missing teenager, is a very keen environmentalist, and kind of wannabe green activist, if her parents would let her anyway. And I mean, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but the book takes place against the backdrop of the wildfires that were going on in California, have been going on every year over the last few years. When I went over to research it in 2019, you could see burnt areas of the forest. We went to some towns that had been really badly evacuated the year before, and so in the book you've got this group of eco-activists who are at this camp out in the desert, basically learning how to go and cause disruption and try and save the planet.
So when you're writing these books, do you always go and visit the locations that you're writing about?
I try to, yeah. I mean, it's a great excuse to have a nice holiday. I mean, yeah, so I've set 3 in a row in America. So the first one was in New York, The House Guest. So I went to stay in Brooklyn in an Airbnb for a week, which was lovely. The middle one was set in Maine, but I wrote it during the pandemic, so I couldn't actually go and do the research. So that was quite frustrating. I just had to use Google Earth.
Yeah.
And then, so there was this one, which is set in Seattle and Northern California. So I went on a research trip, and there's a train journey that's very prominent in the book where this woman thinks she sees Scarlett being chased across a forest clearing. That's how the book opens. And that's the Coast Starlight train, which runs from Seattle down to LA. So I think it takes something like 30 hours to do the whole journey. Wow. It's incredible. I just did half of it. I did the first 14 hours and really enjoyed it. But my next book's set just outside Brighton on the south coast, so that was a slightly less glamorous.
Yeah. So once you've got a book out, I mean, is it time to move on to the next one? Have you got another one ready to go? Pretty
much, yeah. I mean, I'm always one book ahead of the one that's actually just come out. So I'm actually about 3/4 of the way through the second draft of that book.
Right.
And my deadline is in 3 weeks. So slightly kind of against it at the moment. But yeah, so what happens is when I have a new book out and people ask me questions about it, I have to think, hang on, I finished that book a year ago. My brain is now full of the new one.
Yeah.
Remember, you have to remember what happens. It's not that hard. It's not that easy, actually.
Now, what about launching a book? I mean, obviously you've sold over 3.5 million books, but when it comes to launching a new one, do you still get nervous?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Because you never know how each book is going to be received in terms of both the kind of the reviews and whether, I mean, I don't really care about things like press reviews or whatever. It's what the readers, the Amazon reviews and the Goodreads reviews, what the actual readers think. Yeah. And then the sales. It's like, can I keep going? Am I still going to be a full-time writer this time next year? So yeah, there's always that pressure because it's hard. There's always these sexy young debuts coming along, and us veterans have to do mad things like dyeing our hair pink to try and keep people interested.
So why did you decide to dye your hair pink then?
Well, I just had a mad moment where I was writing. I was thinking, what can I do to draw attention to the fact I've got a book coming out? I know that. The writing on the book cover is pink, my name.
Yes, yeah.
I asked my Twitter followers, should I dye my hair pink? And I promise I'll go along with what you say. And I guess I must have known that they would say, yeah, do it. This is the nation that called a boat Boaty McBoatface, after all. People are not very sensible. So Sunday I got my wife, she bleached it blonde, so I looked a bit like an aging Eminem at first. And then I went pink, and I was like, I couldn't believe when I saw how bright it was. I looked like a kind of middle-aged punk.
Well, let's talk about music then, because I see the Lana Del Rey t-shirt there, so you must be a fan?
I love Lana. I'm slightly obsessed with Lana Del Rey, and I've even got some cardboard cutouts of her in this office, but you can't see them in this angle. Yeah, I mean, I've been a massive fan of hers for 9 or 10 years, and I listen to music while I'm writing as well. So anything from like early 80s stuff, like electronic music. I love things like the Human League and Soft Cell and Duran Duran and people like that. And 90s, I'm really into like Suede, massive Cure fan as well. But yeah, these days I mostly listen to like female singer-songwriters like Lana and Casey Musgraves and people like that.
And what about becoming a writer? Was that something you always wanted to do, even as a child? Were you good at English? Were you always writing stuff?
Yeah, it's the thing. It was the one thing that I was good at school. I just found it. I found it quite. I suppose it came quite easily, really, from when I was a kid, being able to make up stories. And I started off actually writing comic strips. So I used to buy all the comics like 2000 AD and the Eagle and all the kind of funny ones like Whizzer and Chips, and so all these stupid comics. There were so many around in the late 70s. And when I was at school, the stories that I wrote always used to get good marks, and I loved reading as well. I started reading Stephen King and James Herbert when I was a teenager, and I just wanted to be like them. And then I think I wrote my first novel when I was about 24, and I didn't even bother sending it into publishers because it was so bad. And then I wrote another one and another one, and I just kept going. But it did actually take me a long time to get a publishing deal. It took about 16, 17 years before I got before I got my first deal. And so, yeah, when it finally happened in 2011, I mean, yeah, it was literally 17 years after I wrote that first book, and I'd had agents, I'd even had like a TV option for one of the books, but still hadn't got a publisher for it. And I'd had short stories published and things like that, but I'd never managed to get that book deal because it's just so difficult. And so, yeah, that moment when it finally happened, and I got that call from my agent saying HarperCollins want to publish 4 books.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, and it hasn't all been kind of smooth sailing from that point on, but I've been doing it full time now for 7 years.
Was that a big risk then, deciding to go full time and not have the security of a day job as well?
Oh yeah, I mean it was, because what actually happened was that when I got my deal, I was working as a marketing director for a website in London, and decided to quit that job. I mean, to be honest, I think I would have been fired if I hadn't quit, because I'd lost interest in it so much. I mean, I wasn't really, I was so distracted by my writing and all the stuff that's going on with that. So I quit the day job and I moved to Wolverhampton, where my wife's from, because it's much cheaper here. And we could afford to buy a small house. And then I worked freelance for a couple of years, basically to pay the bills. And it was a very difficult time, actually. We were really broke, like really, really skin. I had the tax man threatening to send the bailiffs round at one point because I had this massive tax bill. And I thought that the first couple of books would sell better than they did. And so I got the advance from the publisher, and then there was no more money. And it was only when The Magpies came out in 2013 and was a big hit that I was able to kind of pay my tax bill, stay out of jail. And I've been doing it full time ever since then. So it's been great. It's so nice now. But yeah, it was a big risk. It was a big gamble. And in the end, it worked out, but it so easily could have gone the other way.
So what's the kind of main tip or piece of advice that you would give to other writers out there who've maybe been struggling for some time now and would love to be where you are now?
I think the thing that held me back for a long time was that I didn't have a really clear vision of what kind of writer I was or where my books fitted in the market, like where would they be in a book, in a bookshop, or which other authors would Amazon say I like a Mark Edwards book. And it was only really when I figured that out, and with the Magpies, I had this very clear idea that it was a psychological thriller, that it kind of fitted in this space in the market. And I was also lucky that I wrote it around the time that psychological thrillers suddenly became big after books like Gone Girl. So you have got to have some luck and persistence, but also you can make things easier for yourself by trying to think commercially and think about what publishers and agents can be looking for, and how can you sell yourself, and how are they going to be able to sell your book to the public. If you can describe your book in one line or a few words, like the Magpies was Neighbours from Hell.
Now, I'm intrigued by the one behind you there that says, "Here to stay, meet the in-laws from hell."
Yeah, it's about these in-laws who come to stay and won't leave and turn out to be evil. It's not based on my in-laws. My in-laws are very lovely. But yeah, if you can describe your book in a line, if you can do it in 3 words, that's even better.
So No Place to Run, the latest book, it's out now. You can probably get it on all the platforms, Amazon and places like that.
Or you can go into your local bookshop or library and ask for it, and they'll be able to get it in if they don't already have it.
And if people want to check out your other books as well, you're online, you got a website?
Yeah, it's markedwardsauthor.com. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram as Mark Edwards Author. I'm on there. I'm very busy on both of those platforms, putting up stupid videos and pictures of my cat and me dyeing my hair pink.
Well, that's what I was thinking. How are you going to top this with your next post after the pink hair thing?
Raise the stakes now. I'm going to have to get a tattoo and a piercing and I don't know, or go like rainbow coloured or something. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I've got nearly a year before the next one comes out, so I've got plenty of time to think of some ridiculous stunt.
Well, I'm going to join you on your social media and see what you're going to get up to next. But in the meantime, the best of luck with the book, Mark. And it's been great talking to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, you too.
Now, the last time my next guest was on the show, we were talking about the smash hit musical Paperboy. He's back with the follow-up, which is called Bread Boy. I'm down to find out what happens next because Tony Macaulay joins us in the studio. Tony, how are you?
I'm very well, Robin.
Good to see you again. Now, before we talk about the new musical, I got to talk to you about ABBA because you're just back from London after seeing the ABBA show. How good was it?
It was incredible. I mean, all the reviews have said that it's this remarkable experience. Well, I can say absolutely it was incredible. Completely immersive experience. And you develop this relationship with these, what they call the avatars. And, you know, they speak in between some of the songs as well as they perform on the stage. And it's, you know, you really believe that they're there with you, even though it's all this wonderful technology and it's a light show basically.
Yeah.
But then the music and the dancing and the atmosphere and everything, it's just a fantastic experience.
Brilliant.
Wonderful. And I've been an ABBA fan for many years, so it was just, I felt like I was in heaven at ABBA Voyage.
Brilliant. So, of course, ABBA were massive back in 1977, and that's where we're off to now for the sequel to Paperboy, aren't we?
Yes, so it's Bread Boy, and so my customer service delivery skills were so renowned as a paperboy that I was headhunted by the Ormo bread man. So my second job in life was as a van boy on the last Ormo mini shop in Northern Ireland.
Right.
All the others had been hijacked and burnt
Yeah.
at that stage in 1977. So I was a van boy every Saturday morning. So it really tells the story from 1977 to 1982. So I'm 14 at the start, and by the end of the story, I'm 18.
Yes.
So there's a bit of a passage of time in Bread Boy.
You're discovering girls, I would imagine, in this one, yeah?
Yes, so I mean, obviously, it's the troubles are all happening in the background. All that's very grim, but I'm more interested in Saturday Night Fever and Grease and punk rock and trying to get the part of Tony in the Belfast Royal Academy production of West Side Story, and also of trying to make some connection with the lovely Judy Carlton, who sits opposite me in chemistry class as well.
Wow, okay. So once again, this has been turned into a musical, which is coming to the Lyric Theatre.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the Lyric Theatre from the 28th of July to the 31st of July. And it's the same team, it's the same creative team as last time. So Duke Special has composed the music, and Andrew Doyle has written the book of the play. And we've got these wonderful co-directors of Stephen Dexter and Dean Johnston. It's just, you know, and it's a youth cast from British Youth Music Theatre. So it's you know, it's a team. We've all worked together before on this. So it's very exciting about, you know, taking it to the next stage now with Bread Boy.
Okay, I have to ask, when you watched Paperboy for the first time and you're sitting there in your seat in the Lyric, looking up at the stage, watching yourself up there, what was that feeling like?
Do you know, I honestly, from the very first rehearsal to the very last performance, I couldn't quite believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite get my head around it, that this was my childhood, this, you know, that's my mother, that's my school friends, you know, all recreated on the stage so beautifully. And I sort of realized, you know, very few people have this experience in life, so I just want to, you know, to enjoy every minute of it. So that's how I feel. I suppose I know how it all works now.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just want to, you know, make the most of it and enjoy it this time around again.
Brilliant. So we've had Paperboy, we're on to Bread Boy now. Will there be another one then?
Well, there is a coming of age trilogy,
Yes.
so there is that possibility that you know we'll complete the trilogy
Yes,
as a musical trilogy as well. So the third book is called All Growed Up.
Yeah.
What Bread Boy Did at University, and it features me going to university for the first time, and also features me actually meeting my future wife, which, you know, she's I'm not sure whether she's excited or terrified by the idea that there's a possibility she's going to appear on stage in a musical at some stage in our early curtain days, you know, so that'll be interesting.
So what else are you up to at the minute? Is there any more writing in the pipeline for you? What are you?
I have a new book that'll be coming out later this year, which is very different from all of my other books. It's set in Rwanda. It's got nothing to do with Belfast. Well, in a way, it has lots to do with Belfast, because it's actually about reconciliation. So I've co-written a novel with a young Rwandan screenwriter, and it's actually a love story between a Hutu and a Tutsi, a perpetrator and survivor of the genocide in Rwanda. So that's it's a bit of a departure for me. It's a collaboration, as I said, there's not a wee lad or a wee Millie in sight. It's not set in Belfast, but actually, and the minute I'm working on kind of my next book, which is something I'm really enjoying. It's early days, I've just started, but it's a time travel adventure set in Belfast. So I'm returning to Belfast for the next book. It'll be a novel, and it's sort of my time travel sci-fi muscle is being used for the first time in a book. So I'm really excited about that.
Brilliant. So we look forward to that. But in the meantime, we can catch Bread Boy at the Lyric Theatre, and it must be great working with Duke Special as well.
Well, it's amazing. He's just this quiet genius, and I have to tell you, I've heard the songs. It's the era of disco, and Duke Special has written the perfect disco song. I think he must have researched it, and it's you know, I heard it once, and the cast heard it once, and everyone was singing it instantly. And it's almost like something that Donna Summer would have sung, in 1977 or something. Absolutely brilliant, and then quite an eclectic mix of styles of music as well as that in the music as well. So yes, Peter Wilson, absolute genius. It's a real privilege to that he's kind of applied his genius into recreating my story on the stage.
Brilliant. Okay, when can we see it then?
Opening night is the 28th of July in the Lyric Theatre, and it runs to the 31st. There's evening performances and matinees as well.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to that. Tony, as always, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Robin. Good to see you.
Thank you. Right, music legend Steve Forbert is back with a great new album called Moving Through America. We'll be chatting to the man himself in a couple of minutes after this. One of the tracks from the album, he recorded this live in the NVTV studios. Here's Steve Forbert and Fried Oysters.
Take your time and show me I'm in too much of a world. Though I'm trying to do what you said do. I'm your date and you said 8 and you're my oyster girl. And I won't eat fried oysters without you. I won't eat fried oysters without you in the cocktail sauce. I don't care what they cost, it's worth those high prices. I'm your date, you said 8 and you're my oyster girl. I won't eat fried oysters without you. I won't eat fried oysters without you in cocktail sauce. I don't care what they cost, it's worth those high prices. Take your time and show me I'm in too much of the world. I won't eat fried oysters without you. Yeah. Houston town is on flat ground and around to your questions swirl. What's it the next big hurricane gonna do? I could move, but all I'd prove is you're my only pearl. And I won't eat fried oysters without you. I won't eat fried oysters without you in cocktail sauce. I don't care what they cost, it's worth those high prices. Take your time and show me I'm in too much of the world. I won't eat fried oysters without you. I won't eat fried oysters without you.
Okay, there we go. That's a great track called Fried Oysters, recorded live in the NVTV studios when Steve Forbert was in Belfast recently. He's back home in America now, and I believe we can go live to Asbury Park in New Jersey and say good morning, Steve Forbert. How are you?
Well, I'm just fine, Robin. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. Last time we saw you, it was very brief in Belfast. You're on this kind of mad tour of the UK, and next time you do it, you got to tell the promoters, give me more time in Belfast.
That's right. That would be nice, and really a couple of more dates in at least Ireland. It's a lot of trouble nowadays to go through the labyrinthine process of getting on a airplane and to come over. But we did the one date in Belfast, and then we went back the next day. It was very hectic, but I was glad we got a chance to do this TV thing with you, because that's a lot more than a club date at the Deer's Head.
So did the tour go well? Was it great to be back out on the road after being locked away for such a long time?
I'm 67. And this was not a world tour. It was 12 dates with very few days off. And it was nonstop. It was stressful. I was worried about it before we even came over because I'm not as young as I used to be. We travel rather economically, let's say. And then you got this virus thing that's such an unpredictable, lurking thing out there that if you can just get through the tour, great. With all these things now, being older and just, there's so much traffic. And I'm a singer-songwriter. I could complain for another 5 minutes.
Brilliant. So we heard the track there, Fried Oysters. That's from the new album, which is out now. It's called Moving Through America. And I was thinking, you must have played every state in America over the years.
I think I've done North Dakota, South Dakota. I've done Bozeman, Montana. I've been to Alaska a couple of times, and I just haven't played Hawaii.
The album Moving Through America, then, was that inspired by stories about different people that you met on your travels?
Well, the album is indeed mostly third-person observational type songs. And the title song is just from like a personal journal. Moving Through America, I did 10 days back about 7 years ago through the Midwest in the dead of winter, the North Midwest. And I just wrote down the places I went and the things I saw. But you get into a song like It's Too Bad You Super Freak. That's an observation of a person who's really can't lick that gambling problem. Their car needs repair, but damn it, they're on their way back to Atlantic City anyway in that car. And then there's another one called Times Like These, which that song started with some ideas and it turned out that it wanted to be a portrait of a homeless person settling down in yet another temporary location. So Living the Dream is about a character who's just out of jail and feeling great to be back on the street. And, all I need is a tank of gas and menthol cigarettes. Walk out in my crepe sole shoes and brand new Stetson hat. So these are portraits of characters.
And what about the track we just heard there, Fried Oysters, which has to be my favourite song on the album, because the first time I heard it, it's just a song that gets stuck in your head.
Well, that's music to my ears, sorry, but I'm glad you like it. It is just this is silly, but I really do like fried oysters a lot. And I just wrote a song about it, but I just didn't want to say, I like fried oysters. Don't you think they're great? It just had to be attached to some sort of pop song, and that would be waiting for a date to get ready so you can go out and get some of those fried oysters for dinner. So that became the song.
Brilliant. So you're back home at the moment. You're in Asbury Park, New Jersey at the moment. Even though you weren't born there, New Jersey has a special place in your heart, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And particularly, let me say this. A lot of my work has always been in New Jersey. Back in the day, Robin, there were so many good radio stations and even magazines, if you remember magazines. They were around, and there was a lot of musical network communication. And there are a lot of colleges around here. So this was such a fertile environment for a singer-songwriter. That whole sub-generation was kind of my age. And then furthermore, the Jersey Shore has always maintained a rock and roll lifestyle and ambience. And I used to leave New York City for a weekend break and come down here and just listen to bands playing in the bars. And they were playing rock and roll. They weren't trying to be the Eurythmics or something. It was still old school, and I liked it a lot, and I drank way too much beer down here. But that's New Jersey. It's been perfect for songs with a lot of words and this sort of folk rock music.
And of course, when you first arrived there in the 70s, obviously Bruce Springsteen would have become the biggest thing ever to come from New Jersey.
Well, of course. And it's always something I'm going to go live on the radio the 24th of July for a show. It's Sunday morning. It's the radio stations are so tight now, they're mostly programmed, and this is a rock, a classic rock channel, hard rock. So the only way I can go on and let people know I have a new record out is to do this show that's Sunday with Springsteen, and I'll sing one of his songs, and then I'll probably do Living the Dream.
Excellent. Well, since we mentioned the boss there, Bruce Springsteen, I mean, you also appeared in a club that was owned by Clarence Clemons, Bruce's great saxophone player, didn't you?
Yeah, it was called Big Man's West, and it was part of this thing I'm telling you about, that there was such a rock and roll presence on the Jersey Shore, and that bumped the game up. And, you know, people were always excited because Bruce himself used to hang out there any weekend he wasn't on the road. So, yeah, sure, Big Man's West was fun, and there were many other clubs I could tell you about.
I'm going to take you back to the year 1979 because that was a very good year for you. The year of Jack Rabbit Slim and, of course, Romeo's tune as well, which when you hear it on the radio today, you just know that song from the first second you hear it, don't you?
Yeah, it's that piano riff, which is it's very good to have an introduction that's already gotten in the door, you know, and that one was such a case. And then I still love singing that song. The lyrics have not, become something I can't relate to. I still mean it every night. It's very easy to sing.
And did you know when you wrote it, did you know you had a hit record there?
I didn't really. I wrote it in Mississippi. But I used to do what they called Hoot Nights at Folk City. And it's really what you know is an open mic night now. And one of the other Hoot Night musicians told me one night after I did my 3 songs, he said, that last song you did, what's the name of that? And I said, I think it's called Romeo's Tune. And he just looked me straight in the face and he said, that's a hit record. Yeah. And I just thought to myself, really? And so we did everything we could to make that a reality. So I didn't know in Mississippi, but I thought it was catchy. Yeah. But that sort of put the thought in my mind that it could be a quote unquote hit.
When you think about how big the Americana scene is now, I mean, you were probably one of the first guys to bring that Americana scene to life, really, in the late 70s, weren't you?
I think that's true in the sense that I did have a couple of pretty big records that Alive on Arrival and Jack Rabbit Slim, right at a time when New Wave was taking off and a lot of people were listening to Talking Heads, Blondie, and then it became the Thompson Twins or Tears for Fears, or on it went. But I was still sticking with this sort of rootsy thing. It's what came natural to me. And so what you said is true in that regard. I didn't start it. The Byrds started it. I just still loved it. And that's just what I just wanted to, I was inclined to continue that. So I get some kind of credit for something, but I was just doing what I loved. That's all.
I want to talk to you as well about Cyndi Lauper, because tell me this, is it true that you're in the video of Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
Yeah, I'm in there for about 5 seconds, maybe 7.
Wow. How did all that come about?
Well, she was in a group called Blue Angel, and I saw them perform at a place here in Asbury Park called the Fast Lane. Okay. And I thought they were good, and I thought she was particularly good. And I bought their record. They put out a record. And as I said, I went to see them at the Fast Lane. And after a couple of beers, I got up and sang a couple of Little Richard songs with her and them. So she knew I liked her and was a fan. And when she left the group and did her video, which took another year or so went by, she asked me if I would be in it, because at that point, Romeo's Tune was getting a lot of airplay. Yeah. That would be an asset to her video. And I said, of course, I'd love to. So that's how it happened.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Wow. Last time we spoke about some of your big music influences over the years. And we didn't speak until recently about Van Morrison. You're a big Van fan, aren't you? I'm
a pretty big Van fan. Of course, I could talk about Van for easily a solid 30 minutes here. But I I was very influenced by that strange thing he came up with. It wasn't unlike the band. It contained a lot of roots elements, but it was Van Morrison. I really like his band in the Street Choir. I completely agree with the people that think Madame George is awesome. And I could just go on, Robin, from there. I could talk about the Chieftains record, Irish Heartbeat. Isn't that the name of it?
That's it, yeah.
That record should be so much better known. It's a masterpiece. I could go on and on.
And what about music at the minute? Do you still keep up with what's out there? Do you still listen to new music?
I listen to things. I'm always happy when I occasionally hear something I can really get behind, such as It Was by Harry Styles. Love that single. There's another song on Harry's new record. It's called Boyfriends, that it doesn't have drums. It's very beautiful and not aggressive. It's got 3-part harmony. It's highly recommend it. That's something. I like Billie Eilish a lot. Her best things, I think, are very good. But it's pop music, and her best stuff is really good. There's one called I'm Not Your Party Favor. I think it's great.
Brilliant. So you're in a recording studio today. Does that mean there's going to be some new music you're working on at the moment?
I'm here just to do this. I'm writing songs, but I write those at home methodically and at my, to be redundant, at my own pace. So we may be in here recording, but not anytime soon. I've just put out Moving Through America.
Excellent. Well, we're going to hear another live track. We're going to hear Living the Dream in just a second. But Steve, you got to come back and see us in Belfast sometime soon.
Well, that would be great. It helped me get Dublin added to the trip and things not so frantic, and organize the tour a little bit better, so I won't be over there and out of there in dare I say, 27 hours.
Well, Steve, as always, it's been great talking to you. We're loving the new album, Moving Across America, especially the Fried Oysters. I'm going to continue to play that over and over again on the show. I don't care if they get fed up with it, because I like it. And let's hope we'll see you back in Ireland sometime soon.
That'd be great, Robin. Thanks for everything. I get up each morning, I get down at night. Get down with your best self, boy. Make us feel alright, alright. Like peaches and cream, alright. Like living a dream. I sold drugs in Shreveport and in the Lafayette. All I need's a tank of gas and menthol cigarettes. And yes, it's peaches and cream. And yeah, I'm living a dream. Now I found my way back home. Now I'm not in jail. I've been in a police car and live to tell the tale. Yeah. And now I found my way back home. Now I'm not in jail. I've been in a police car and live to tell the tale. Let's get up to something. I'm so down with that. Walk out in my
crepe-soled shoes and brand new Stetson hat. And that is peaches and cream. And that is a living a dream. Yeah.
And of course, Steve's new album, Moving Through America, is out right now. That's all we have time for on the show this week. Thank you to all the guests. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.